Hi, everybody. I'm James, and welcome back to Storytime with James. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. All right, this one's called Why They Do That. Yeah, why do people do the stuff that they do, you know? Like breaking in your car, breaking in, robbing people, and breaking in your house. See, uh, this happened like in uh 2011. I want to say, I think it was 2011. I woke up that morning, I cut the grass, everything was clean in the house. It smelled like bleach and fabuloso. Yeah, bleach and fabuloso. I used to love that smell. It smelled real clean and stuff like that. So the whole house was clean from top to bottom. And and uh and then it was a day before Thanksgiving, okay? So I pre-made my food, because I had to work that day. I had to work that day. But on Thanksgiving I was going to be off, but I had to work the day before. So I wasn't going to have time to prepare stuff when I got off and stuff like that. So I decided to make it beforehand. So I had my turkey, I had macaroni and cheese, baked beans, and greens, everything, and had pies too. But I bought the pies. I didn't make the pies, but I cooked the rest of it. So I was gonna invite my sister and them over to my house, so so we can have Thanksgiving dinner. So then I had like it was this was in the morning, so it was like 10 something. So I went down to the job to take some paperwork in from the day before. So I took some paperwork in there, and then I was going to leave. I end up that some people were talking to me and stuff, so I stayed a little longer. So I stayed like 20 minutes, about 20 minutes. And then when I went home, something didn't seem right. Something didn't seem right. So I was getting ready to go to the front door, and I figured I didn't have the key to the wrought iron door that was on the outside. So I had the key to the back door, and that was wrought iron too. So I went around to the back, and I admired my grass and stuff like that. Then I looked over, and the back door was open. Yes, the back door was open. Matter of fact, the wrought iron door was pried open, and the whole side of the siding of the door was hanging off there. And I said, "Oh my goodness, what in the world?" So I was getting ready to call the police first, but you know how I am. I was furious then. So I just went in, and they destroyed my house. They turned everything over, and the refrigerator door was wide open, and they took my Thanksgiving dinner that I had prepared. They took my dinner and everything, and they turned everything over. Took my flat screen TV, which was small. It was small. It wasn't big. I'm glad I didn't invest in a big TV because I wasn't watching TV that much then. So, and they went in my bedroom, flipped my mattresses all off my bed and everything. They just trashed my house. But they didn't check that closet in the hall closet where I had my leather jackets and they were expensive jackets too, leather jackets. My suits were in there and everything. So then I end up have to call off for work. So I called down to the job, said I can't come in. Somebody broke into my house. Then I called my buddy rifleman came over, and we was trying to assess the problem. And then I called the police, but it took them 2 hours to get there. So when they got there, I left everything like it was, and except we started fixing the back door, the siding on the door. We fixed that and tried to fix it so we can lock the door. So the police come in, and I asked them. I said, "Sir, can you get fingerprints?" And they said, "No." Was anybody hurt? What did they hurt anybody when they came in? So they figured if they broke in your house, they had to hurt somebody in order for them to take fingerprints. I never heard of that. But they didn't take the fingerprints. So I was so mad, and then I cleaned up the whole house again. Had to clean up again that day. I called off so I can clean up. So I cleaned up, cleaned up, put my bed back together, and everything, and and they took my safe. They took my safe. Man, it was crazy, man. So after I cleaned up everything, stood everything back up, and they took my little TV that I had in the living room. So I didn't have a TV in there, but I had this big television, a big television with tubes in it. It was huge. They couldn't get that. It looked like that somebody picked it up and fell back on the bed. So they left it on the bed. So that TV was heavy. There was no way they could carry that out. But it had to be at least five to six people who did this. And I was trying to figure out, and then I went out front, out in the front of my house, and people were sitting on their porches like they usually do. And I asked them, did they see anybody? They said no. There's no way. There's no way they can break in your house and do all that damage without nobody noticing. And it was tire tracks on my grass. So apparently they tried to get out the front door, but that front door was locked. That wrought iron door was locked, so they couldn't get out of there. So I said, man, nobody didn't see nothing. Nobody saw a truck, or it was obvious that it was a pickup truck or some kind of SUV that drove up in my yard in order to load the truck up, you know. But nobody saw nothing. So I got very mad. I got mad with everybody in my neighborhood then, because I'm like a private person. I'm mostly all I do. I leave, I go to work, and I come home. That's it. And I don't have a lot of company over or nothing like that. So I couldn't understand why nobody saw anything. So I got furious about it. I was getting ready to go vigilante. I was getting ready to go vigilante. I kept going outside, looking outside. At night, I hear a noise. I wake up, look outside, and stuff like that. So I was getting paranoid. So I end up moving from there. You know, moving from there, and I never found out who did. Then the police called me the next day, and they told me, "Look, we have a safe here, but if you can open it, you can have it. And turn that sound off, because it's an alarm that goes off if you try to attempt to tamper with it and you don't know the code and stuff like that to get in. Alarm will go off. And they were hitting the thing with hammers and everything, but they couldn't get in that safe, you know. So they drove it, they brought it up to my job, and I went out to their trunk, and I, because they had a little dial on the front that you can dial combination, and they had a key that you can open it with and stuff like that. So I had to use the combination, and then I opened it, and they said, "Okay, it's yours." It was just a small safe. It was a small safe, but this thing was durable, you know. But I couldn't even use it no more because they were really trying to get into that safe, you know. But it wasn't no money in there, nothing like that. Just some, I think it was some rings for my wedding, and my marriage certificate and stuff like that was in there. So after that, I just figured, you know, I chalked it up as a loss. I charged that to the game, you know, because one time, a point in my life, I was like that. I would break in somebody's stuff and stuff like that. So I figured I had it coming back to me. It was coming back to me, you know. So I charged it to the game. I charged it to the game. So and all that stuff was materialistic anyway. I can get it back if I wanted to. I can go out and get it back, right back, you know. But I'm glad nobody got hurt or nothing like that. But that just goes to show you, man, you really can't trust too many people, you know. And I don't know who they were. And the people on my block, the people across the street, it was a lot of guys that used to hang over their house. And then the lady came over to my house the next day and say, here. She offered me a pie. I think it was a pumpkin pie or something like that. And I looked at her crazy. She said, "Well, I'm sorry they did your house like that." Yeah, but I bet it was some of those guys that was on her porch, you know. But I couldn't prove it. So I wouldn't go out and attack somebody if I didn't know who it was, you know. So like I said, I charged that to the game. But when you do stuff like that, it comes back on you. It comes back on you, and I'm sure it came back on them too. Who did this? It came back on them tenfolds. You know, like when I did it, I had a couple of years where everything was messed up. A couple of years, and I don't know, but like I said, man, try to protect your stuff, and remember that it's all material stuff. You can always get stuff back, but a life you can't get back. You know, so long as nobody was hurt in doing it while it happened, nobody was at the house and stuff like that. That's it. But it took them 20 minutes to do everything they wanted to do. When I came back, it was destroyed. Well, after that, man, I never was surprised what somebody do. You know. All right, you guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And hit that bell notification. Hit that bell notification so that you know every time I drop another video. And share, share, share. Share my videos with your family. Share my videos with your friends. Share it with your loved ones. And even share it with your enemies. Peace. Adios.